Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Well, is it heads or tails? For most cats, the answer is heads, and you best leave that tail alone. In today's video, I'll note just a few reasons as to why the majority of felines would rather you pet elsewhere. And just as a quick caveat, before I get into the nitty-gritty, so much of a cat's reaction to tail rubbing, petting, and what have you really has everything to do with who you are and the overall trust level that has been established. If you've owned your cat for quite a while, your pet will likely be more tolerant, let's say, of physical contact simply because they know that you would never harm them. And while this doesn't mean that your cat necessarily enjoys the tail being touched, they'll allow it simply because you are who you are. As for the notable no-touch reasons, we'll begin with the sensitive nature of the tail itself. Given that the tail is an extension of the spine, it's a very fragile area. Any type of aggressive manipulation, most notably pulling of the tail, can cause serious injury. This is one of the main reasons as to why cats are naturally protective of the tail. If you have small children in the home, make it a priority, a great point of emphasis. I just cannot stress it enough. Never tug on the tail. This could potentially result in life-changing consequences for your cat. This is really nothing to mess around with, extremely serious. Jerking of the tail in a violent motion could cause severe nerve damage, potentially impacting the spinal cord. Next, we have the defensive posture and the anxiety that tail contact and manipulation can cause. And this primarily harkens back to what I just said about the tail tugging. This is not unlike the anxiety that cats feel when the belly region is being touched. Cats know that both areas are incredibly sensitive, and any level of physical harm can be very serious. Touching of the tail can put some cats on edge, even to the point of an aggressive outburst. And what about that caveat I mentioned at the top of the video? You can get away with more if your cat trusts you. I think we can all speak to this. Cats tolerate a heck of a lot if they really have a strong bond with the person in question. Well, what about tail manipulation involving a person the cat just does not know or trust? This is a reason for a cat to panic. If you're a stranger, the cat is just going to naturally expect the very worst once you start messing around with that tail. And even if you have no bad intentions at all, the cat has to assume the defensive posture and, quite frankly, has to assume the worst. So, just a friendly tip. If you engage with a cat that doesn't know you, never, under any circumstance, attempt to pet, pull, just leave that tail alone. You could find yourself on the receiving end of some claws. You have nothing without trust. Just keep that in mind. And finally, let's close things out with injury. I mentioned in reason number 1, a cat's tail is incredibly sensitive, and trauma to the tail could result in a catastrophic outcome. If your cat already has sustained some degree of injury, you can expect an incredible level of a defensive posture or defensive posturing if you attempt to touch the tail at all. On the flip side, if you have a strong bond with your cat and petting the tail has just never been an issue, but all of a sudden your cat just suddenly shies away and attempts to hide the tail, this could be a sign of physical discomfort, either some level of pain or actual injury. Be mindful of the positioning of your cat's tail. Is it no longer moving, just sort of low and dragging along? Is the tail bent? If your cat's once active tail is unresponsive, please take your cat to the vet as soon as possible. The tail is a massive communication tool for cats, always in motion, and if the tail is no longer moving, this is a major red flag. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this topic? Does your cat let you pet the tail, or are all the guards up all the time? Has your cat ever sustained some type of tail injury? If there is anything that you'd like to express or add to the video, the comment section, as always, it's all yours. And as always, I would like to thank you so very much for taking some time out of your very busy day to join me right here at Senior Cat Wellness. Did you like what you heard today? If you did, please feel free to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, we will talk to you later.